PDRcontractors.com, developed to connect, promote, and advance the paintless dent repair industry. Start your membership today.
Feel the difference with CBD Direct Oils.
CBD oils may have the health benefits for your aches and pains.
Thanks for sponsoring our show.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is episode 213 of PDR Tool Time. I'm your host Vince D'Alessandro, along with Daniel Grom and John Renstrom. We are going to talk... Hey, what's going on? Sorry.
Hola.
Did everybody recover from our little get-together last night?
I hope so.
I probably shouldn't have mixed that second drink. I mean, I had like an ounce and a half. I'm freaking hungover.
So last night we had a little cocktail party virtually, and it was great. It was fantastic. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, I had 24 people on my screen at one time. So we had 24 people on our Zoom meeting at one time.
It was pretty cool.
And I think I looked over at our Facebook Live right about then, and we had 19 or 20 viewing on Facebook Live as well.
Yeah, and then we had some coming and going throughout it. You know, didn't want to put up with the banter, or it was kind of noisy, wasn't it, at times?
Oh, it was. And then the screen was changing because as people would drop out and new people would come in, you would rearrange the order.
Yeah.
Man, I could not keep up. You'd hear somebody talking or asking a question.
Find out who it was.
Trying to find out who it was.
Yeah. No, it was cool. You know what? And it was meant to be lighthearted and fun. And in these trying times that we have, we're not able to go to a bar and hang out. So we just kind of had a virtual, it's 5:00 somewhere, happy hour, right?
Yeah. Yeah, our furthest away, Kevin Andrews from the UK, popped in last night. It was 2:00 in the morning where he was at. But it was interesting. We got perspective from coast to coast here in the US and from the UK as to how their whole worlds are changing and evolving during this little COVID-19 crisis we're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think that's the common thing is everything is different depending on where you live. Even from county to county, here in Southern California, my office is in Orange County and I live in LA County. It's two completely different scenarios going on. So, it's just trying times and everyone's pretty aware of what's going on. We're not really going to get into what's going on specifically with COVID-19, but what we're talking about today is how we're dealing with it with our businesses, and whether you're a Lone Ranger, standalone technician, or if you have a shop with employees and things like that. And, what better person to bring on, in my opinion, than Ingrid Schneider from, she's worked in our industry for many years and knows, retail to a level that a lot of us don't know. And we'd like to welcome Ingrid. How are you?
Thanks for having me, guys. So I'm doing well. Hanging in there. It's a weird time for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to make the most of every day. And that's hard, but I'm trying.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So
now, Ingrid, where are you now?
I'm in Denver, Colorado. I was working for Front Range for the last 4.5 years. And I recently left before COVID happened.
Yeah.
Thinking that I was going to consult and go out and build my own business. And I started. But then COVID happened, and we just never know what's going to happen. It's a lesson to remember that, things can change in the blink of an eye.
Exactly.
We have to be thankful for the days that we have.
Yeah.
But I'm consulting now and enjoying it a lot. So
now I first met you, Ingrid. Actually, it was about a year this past November. I have to apologize publicly because we thought that we started up the whole tech meetup thing, myself and Mike in San Diego after an IMI class. But really, you guys at Front Range, yourself, and there was another gentleman that was helping you, right?
Anson, yeah.
Anson, and you guys kind of came up with the whole idea of having the tech meetup.
I mean, it was just kind of a win-win when you guys were doing IMI training to have everybody out. And we thought too that it would foster some more community and bring people out. I mean, the one thing that the PDR industry is really good at is fostering community.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Sure.
But bringing people together on the heels of that training, and then also bringing more people out because they get a win-win. They get the tech meetup and they get the training at the same time. So,
yeah. And I'll post some pictures of that.
Marketing ploy too.
I got some great pictures from that tech meetup, so I'll post them in the show notes if anyone wants to relive those days. I just
That was a
got
long
a
time
family.
ago.
It was.
We
Well,
had
it
a
feels
really
like it
good
was.
food truck. That's all that I remember. I mean, it's sacred.
There was quite the food truck. That was good. They were making some really interesting things.
Yeah, like I think we had chicken and waffles, and I don't remember all of them, but
Some type of hot dog thing too that was good. So,
all right. Well, Ingrid, why don't you hit us with a little bit of your work history? Because you have a very fascinating work history. You're kind of new to the automotive, but not to what your specialty is.
Right. Business and training is my specialty. I have done a lot of weird things. I'll tell you that too. And I've actually never applied for a job, which is another weird thing about me. Never have I ever. I started at the Gap when I was really young. I was the youngest manager in their history at 15. I was called what's called a pace setter. This is back in the early 90s. I'm not going to date myself and tell you how old I am, but it was really early 90s before we had lots of laws like we do now. And I worked my way up into restaurants. And I was a national training coordinator for restaurants. I would go open all new restaurants. After that, I was a restaurant group manager. After that, I ran the largest comedy club in the nation. I was recruited to do that, which was really fun, 3 years. So I have a filter, but I try not to, I'm not offended easily anymore.
Right.
Working in that industry, 5 years in the comedy or 3 years in the comedy club will do that to you. You've heard everything.
Yeah, and I think that probably helped working that Front Range with a bunch of dent technicians.
Oh my gosh, with the guys, yeah. Being a female in this industry has been really interesting. That's for sure. Yeah. I roll my eyes a lot. Do I roll my eyes?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was helpful for sure. And then after that, I was recruited to manage a rock band, and it's a big rock band. They sell out Madison Square Gardens. Mm-hmm. And then after that, Anson actually, from Front Range, asked me to come work for him, and I kept telling him that I was going to find somebody to help him.
Yeah.
And I kept telling him my whole family's in the automotive industry, which is really super random.
Right.
I was like, I'm not doing this. I know what it entails. I'm out. And somehow he sucked me in. So I was there and built Front Range. We started with just a single bay, subleasing a shop from a tint and detail shop. And Anson was their PDR guy in that space. And then we built it into 3 locations.
Yeah.
So over the past few years, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
That's awesome, and quite an accomplishment. I've been sitting back watching you guys do that for the last few years, and I'm like, wow, you guys are. I was really impressed when I was out there a year ago and all that. And I know things have changed with the economy and no hail in Denver right now, which makes everyone weird. And there's 10 billion freaking PDR companies in Denver.
You can drive down I live on downtown on Broadway, and you can drive down my street and there's 10 in a mile radius. It's insane. And they're going to go away. Yeah. I mean, that's what this is going to happen, is that the strongest is going to survive through this.
Sure.
Those little mom and pop shops, they're not going to make it unless they're hustling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, at least we've started getting some hail lately this week. Started seeing reports, which is really encouraging. Hopefully we have a good year. We
first did the business plan for Front Range. We planned it without hail. And I think that's really important for anybody who's in this industry, is to never rely on hail. Like your budgeting, your business plan, all of that needs to be done without Mother Nature being involved. Because if you're banking on hail, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose it.
I agree 100%. If you're doing a retail thing, you should not be counting on the weather. That should be your bonus.
Yes. It's all surplus from there. And we know how to call guys in. If you're a good established shop, you have your handful of guys that you know and you love, and they're your go-tos. They come and they, how many times if you run a retail shop and you do get hail, are guys coming and knocking on your door saying, give me a job, me a job. I mean, people are out there, especially now. They're going to be out there more.
Oh yeah. I'm getting calls from guys in Denver now. In the past 3 or 4 months, I get at least 2 calls a month. Hey, you got any work out there in California? Could I come out and work for you? It's like, that's amazing that they're calling. I would think it'd be the opposite.
You know what the good thing is, Vince?
What's that?
Is now guys have PDR contractors.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely right.
Now they can go to PDR contractors. They can put themselves on there, and they're accessible and let people know that they're available for work.
Exactly.
So guys, get ready for hail season, because it's going to happen.
It is. It's happening now.
And get on PDR contractors.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're a tech, it's important to make those connections and network.
Yeah. Sure. And PDR contractors will blow that network connection up massively in a hurry. But let's look at this from more of a retail standpoint, Vince, Daniel, you guys are both retail shops.
Yeah.
Ingrid, you're more, I'm a hail chaser. So it was like, I could be in Texas tomorrow going to work. Right. I'm the guy that you were just talking about who's knocking on your door asking for work. But from that retail shop, and the times that we are in, how do we, what's some of the stuff that we can do? I mean, you got us a little sheet up there on the side, but let's start working down that. Let's discuss,
these notes. Yeah. So, it's what I think we start to do right now is what it looks like to identify risk in real time. So what does that mean to you guys? That means that things are changing constantly. Tomorrow we could be on a lockdown and the National Guard could be patrolling our streets. We just don't know how this is going to play out. And it's constantly mitigating that in your business. It's planning for the worst and hoping for the best, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's really hard right now because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. Maybe I could be a millionaire, but we've got to continue to mitigate risk and talk to our customers and do what we can to continue to move forward. So,
and like you said, Ingrid, because it's not like we could rely on talking to our elders about this, because no one has weathered
Vince,
something like this.
You and I have probably been through a lot. Like I lived in LA. I went through the LA riots,
right,
which was crazy. My dad had a factory. We were on the roof with AK-47s and shotguns, patrolling it ourselves. I lived through the Northridge earthquake.
Yeah,
we lived through 9/11. We've lived through so much crap.
Yeah,
but this, and you don't know what's going to happen next.
Right?
You
don't.
Yeah, to be taken out by a handshake.
Yeah.
Damn. Right.
All right. So sorry to cut you off. I'll let you keep going here.
No. So, what does it look like to identify risk? And you've got to be constantly moving. You've got to be constantly reading. You've got to be constantly. There's some business podcasters that I listen to that I follow. I'm an expert because other people are experts. I'm constantly an intake person and trying to learn and talking to people. So, and identifying those risks. Right now, we know it's a risk to be working, but we are deemed a necessary business.
Yeah.
So what kind of steps are you taking to ensure that your business isn't going to get hit? Are you taking everyone's temperature as they're coming to work? Is everyone staying home even if they think it's just a cold?
Yeah.
Are we taking people and making sure that they're staying home for 14 days? All of those things that I could go into 1,000 things, but you guys, I'm sure, are well versed.
We've already heard that.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So we can work through that. Okay. The next thing I would say is definitely thinking outside the box, and I'm going to give you some ideas to do that. So fostering an increased trust and credibility and goodwill during this time in your brand, I think, is a really cool way to do things. I'm a firm believer in karma myself. What goes around comes around.
Yep.
We have an opportunity. There's a lot of money in PDR. That's what people get into it. You guys
give us an example of what you're talking about.
Okay.
So advise me and Vince which we could do Monday morning to start.
Well, I'm going to give you guys an example of something that just happened at a food bank. I'm on the board of directors for a food bank here in Denver, which is what I've been pouring a lot of my time into right now, because I think that it's important to help people that are on the margins. I have money to live for 6 months, which is a lot of us do, which is a big blessing. And that's not normal for people.
Yeah.
So there's a food bank. There's a small business here in Denver called Foreign Form. They're a really cool small boutique shop, and they're struggling too. But in time of crisis, they went out and took their product, which is really cool clothing. They released a brand new shirt, which their shirts sell out really fast, and they donated all the proceeds. They didn't make any money off the shirt to this food bank. Yeah. And they ended up raising up enough money for like 6,000 meals, which is insane and incredible. But it's those kinds of things that we are fostering. There was influencers picking up their t-shirt. Now they're that kind of shop. They have people that are watching them, doing more PR for them, giving back, and it built their brand strength. So how can you do that as a dent shop? I mean, if you're in a shop, what can you give away? What can you foster? What can you do to develop and learn and teach people and give back to the community during this time? Maybe it's a simple video on how to detail your car, how to sanitize your car and put it up on social media.
Yeah.
Everyone's on social media right now.
Right.
Everyone is spending copious amounts of time. God, I've been turning my phone off for like 3 or 4 hours because I'll get so sucked in and I'm like, what am I doing with my time right now?
Yeah.
Right.
People are spending so much time because we're stuck in our houses, right?
Yeah.
So they're on Facebook, and they're like, you guys had that huge meetup last night. You're on the computer together. It's the only thing you can do.
Exactly. No, and it's funny. One of my buddies, he owns a restaurant, and right next door, the car wash, and the city of Long Beach came by and shut him down the other day because someone complained, right? And he actually, not the other day, about a week ago. And I went home and I'm thinking, dude, you got to be creative. You got to be creative. And I came up with an idea for him that I think might work. And I told him, okay, so car washing is not a necessity, right? However, decontaminating Ubers and Lyft cars is a necessity.
Brilliant.
Put up the signs in the front, Uber, Lyft, decontamination, and other people are going to come in. Make sure you're decontaminating. Put some PPE on your employees, masks and gloves, and have them go back to work. And he's like, do you think this will work? I go, I would do it until they tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Because you just became a necessity. How many Ubers and Lyfts are still driving in LA out here? I don't know about, I hear other parts of the country they're not. But here they are.
I had to use one the other day because my truck's in the shop, and I got in the car and I was disgusted.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I was like, this car is disgustingly dirty.
Yeah,
and didn't seem like he took any precautions for the time.
Right.
Did you shower after you got out?
I changed my clothes.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, you've got to think creatively right now, and it's time to hustle. It's time to be working outside the box and looking at what other people are doing. Giving away something for free during this time is something that your customers are going to remember. If you are talking to your customers and giving them value, even if it's teaching them something online or offering to fix a dent at 50%, you've got to hustle and be creative to keep going in this time.
Well, I talked to a tech, and he was saying that what they were doing was when they delivered the car, they were putting gloves in the car and a wipe for the people. It's
really smart. They can wipe the car on themselves.
I mean, that's something that any of us can do right now. And it was not a big gesture. It was just a little gesture, but it's making people feel comfortable. And like you're concerned about it, you're thinking about it. I have a sign outside. I'm doing a post and pre and post wipe down of the car, and I make sure it's kind of a production so people see it happening, taking those precautions. I give them the option to pay by phone, stuff like that.
Now, what about, have you guys taken, like, say, Ziplocs for, most of our cars don't run a normal key, but to get the key from the customer, open up a Ziploc, let them drop the key in.
I greet the customer with a microfiber and my can of Lysol. They put the key in the microfiber, I spray it both sides, and then accept it. That's what I do.
I have it put it in a bucket and I spray it down with alcohol.
Or alcohol too, because I walk around with a Willy Quick bottle. I don't know if you guys could see that. So that's always in my pocket. So it's either Lysol or 91%.
He just pulled it out. It was in his hand, everyone.
Yes. That's how quick I am with my alcohol. And it's small and convenient. Willy Quick.
Yeah.
Willy Quick.
Okay. All right.
Willy Quick.
All right, Ingrid, where are we at?
So I think that just thinking creatively, and thinking creatively is also going through old business and trying to find where you've lost money in the past. And maybe that's following up with customers who you put in Mobile Tech RX and who have not gone through with the dents. Right now is the time to go back and capture those people and offer them some kind of incentive to be coming in and fixing that dent.
Okay,
they may not have the money.
This is where I have the hardest time with, is coming up with multiple ideas of giving people reasons to come back to us. Now, I up until now, I've tended not to want to give discounts.
I'm the same with you. Right now, it's a different time.
So this is where I probably struggle the most in my business, is coming up with, and this goes to when you do a video or something like that, or do any kind of social posting or whatever it is to promote your business, coming up with a laundry list of reasons to get people to come in. I've done headlight cleaning, where I just polished their headlights out. I've done, second dent in the same panel, quarter size or smaller, free. Those are a couple that I've come up with. But I'm looking for more. I'm looking for like an arsenal of ideas
that's
that I
your
can
comfort
rotate through.
And that's your comfort level too, right? Because some people don't like discounting, but at least you're throwing in something free, right?
Right now, I think I need to discount.
I don't believe in discounting. Front Range, when I worked there, we never gave hail deductibles away. I mean, that was the foundation of our business. It's something we didn't do. Because you're selling a product. What'd you say?
Even now in this time? Even
now, I would be, I mean, it's a catch-22 right now. I think that you may have to do it right now. You may have to.
Yeah. What's some of the stuff that what's some of the stuff you did? Like Daniel said, it was like, I'll throw in the second dent. Now I've done that. I can't stand eating a deductible, and the word cash back it might as well be fingernails on a chalkboard to my ears, and free estimates even puts me a little bit further over into the rage machine. So what's some other ideas that you guys have tried or that you thought would be a good idea to try?
I think value in bringing your customer back to you is huge right now, right? So they're already your customer. If you're using MailChimp, if you're using a way to communicate with them on Facebook, if they're members of your Facebook group, or if you have a Facebook fan page they've liked, if you're saying, if you're a returning customer right now because of COVID, I'm going to give you X amount dollars off of your debt repair. I'm a small business. I'm trying to survive like everybody else. People want to support small businesses right now. I've been eating at my friends' restaurants because I want them to survive. They're integral to the American economy for them to survive. How can we support them? It's about getting that message out and talking to your existing customers and maybe offering them a discount because they've already been in your shop and they want you to succeed. If you've done your job over the past years in building a business, you have a database of people who are loyal and people who trust you, right? Let's reach out to those people who are OCD about their cars, who love their cars and don't want their door dings messed up or staying there, or they're dense. Maybe their wife got in a fender bender because she's so nervous and she had to go to the grocery store. And I mean, it's a crazy time, but it's time to take advantage of your database. Yeah.
It might be a time just to offer a wipe down, an interior wipe down, Clorox and Lysol wipe down, I would be very hesitant to use the word decontamination because you cannot guarantee, unless you're using ozone generators, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we had ozone machines. So, I mean, that's huge. Yeah. If you do have those, use them.
But if you can offer your customers a wipe down, heck, even if you do, $50 a car and you only do 2 or 3, that's still $150 a day through the door. That's way better than doing nothing.
Yeah. You got to get scrappy right now. Yeah, for sure.
I call it raping and pillaging. Like
Vince, oh my God.
No, sure. Well, I mean, and I mean that because it goes back to my Scottish roots. The Campbell clan. The Campbell clan was known to invite other clans into their village, get them drunk, and then slaughter them. Right? I think y'all seen like Braveheart when that happened. That was like the Campbell clan. Anyways, so I mean it in a good way. When I get a customer in, I'm trying to maximize the upsell because that's my uncomfortability is upselling. If someone comes in for a door ding, I might say, hey, you got another one in the back. But I feel bad about pointing stuff out because they didn't know about it, right? Where Ingrid, you're the exact opposite. You're walking around that whole car. You're Tiger Mom. You're showing everything.
Every dent. I was consulting for a company before this happened, and Tesla came in, and she had ran into the trash can and put a nice crease in the back of her car. And I estimated it in Mobile Tech. It was $1,000 crease. And then I walked the rest of the car and I said, hey, you've got a huge crease on your door. It was a white Tesla. Yeah. You have a huge crease on your door. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. She was like, oh my gosh, now I can't unsee those.
Right,
and I
exactly.
said, oh, I'm so sorry. Not really. And I said, listen, I'll throw these in because we're already doing this. And I gave her a $50 discount and she was thrilled. I mean, it didn't cost a lot. Yeah. And it ended up bringing that from $1,000 bill to almost a $2,000 bill. Yeah. Which changes the game. Huge.
Exactly. Yeah. And the one place you can give discounts, and it's a little bit sly, but you can say a 25% discount off of factors. Now, people don't know what a factor is, but it's an easy way for us to give a discount, which isn't really costing us anything.
Yeah, it's behind the brace. The factor of behind the brace or double panel or double wall.
Right.
In Mobile Tech RX. Yeah.
We're not charging for it at all.
Yeah.
And on that note, Daniel, I'd like to add this because I've been teaching this in my estimating talks. If you are giving that discount on those factors, let's say even if you wipe it out to 0, move that slider. If you're using MTRX or if you're manually inputting it into another software, put down that it's 0%. It's not charged, but let it be on the paperwork so that they see that part that you point. Gave for free.
Yeah. You're quantifying the discount.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. They need to see that it was there and no charge. So,
or discounted at the end when an invoice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Good point. I like it. Okay. What else can we do?
Okay. So time to learn, identify risk, and develop plans. We have to get creative, like we were talking about. There's grants for small businesses out there right now that are bigger companies are putting out that they may only be a $5,000 grant, but that'll pay your mortgage and maybe your insurance and maybe your lights for the month. Is that in the grand hail scheme of things? We think of $5,000 as not a lot of money, which is kind of a weird phenomenon because it is a lot of money.
Right.
But we've got to be scrappy right now. Bumble, which is a dating app. I saw that yesterday that they just put a grant out for like 60 small businesses for $5,000. And all you have to do is apply. It takes you 30 minutes and you make $5,000. And that's free money. And there's a lot of grants out there right now, you guys. You've got to start researching. You've got to be on the internet looking for them. But it's a way to keep your business afloat for a couple months, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought of that.
It's not a huge win, but right now is the time to get scrappy. It's time to diversify. It's time to find new avenues of revenue.
Rape and pillage.
Yeah, well, one of the things I had an idea for is packages and subscriptions. So if you are a shop that's a dent shop, maybe you say like, hey, if you have 3 dents a year, I'm going to give you this amount of price, and you can quantify it. It can't be more than 5 inches. It can do this, but like, I'm going to take care of 3 dents a year. You're going to pay me up front for $500. This is a special for this time right now. It's COVID special or whatever you want to call it.
Make it your own dent warranty.
Yeah, it's for this year, right? Yeah. But it's going to put some money in your pocket and maybe cause you to survive this year. What kind of subscriptions can you do? I have a friend who owns a clothing company who is doing these $45 boxes, and she's making subscriptions. But what kind of subscriptions can we do right now?
That's interesting you say that, because my web guy, he basically said the same thing. He's like, he did an evaluation on my company and where he puts a yearly value on our customers. And I think it was around $350 yearly value for continuous customers. And he goes, that's what you base your membership off of, that it's a $350 value, and sell a membership and discount that membership and work it that way, which I thought was interesting.
I'll go back to the point. If you have a customer base, if you've done your job for the past few years, and you have people who care about you staying in business, this is a great way to sell them something, and they're going to want to spend their money to support small businesses and keep you afloat. This is a really cool, diversifying way to do this and to stay in the game.
How about this, Ingrid? How do we target marketing to people that aren't going to be affected by this, that aren't going to be laid off, like the grocery industry, the
government
doctors,
industry, government employees,
Yeah,
they're all employed. They're probably, doctors and nurses, they're going to be making hazard time, overtime, and they're going to thrive at this time. So how do we maybe target market something like that, but they're busy and they don't have time to come into business?
I mean, you have valet service then, right? You're going to pick up their car and you're going to pick it up and bring it back, and you're going to disinfect it, and you're going to do whatever it takes to do that. It could, we don't know how this is going to play out. Again, this could be all over in 6 months and we could all have herd immunity. We don't know. Like, it could be another year and a half. It could be that the COVID comes back every year. And how are you going to fix it so that you have these, like we talked about, mitigating risk and identifying risk in real time? How are you going to have procedures in place to go pick up cars and deliver them? So how are you target marketing them? Maybe we're doing Facebook ads that are targeted to doctors. You can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. You can Facebook target ads to pretty much any demographic. Maybe you get involved. You call the HR department at one of the hospitals and you say, hey, listen, I want to give back. If any of your doctors on staff, I mean, they're in crisis mode, so they may not have time right now to deal with you. But like, trying to think of crazy ways. Maybe you call a local doctors group. So maybe it's not the hospital. Maybe it's, the group of doctors. Like we have Greenwood Village Pediatrics down the street. Maybe you call them and you're offering them like, hey, I'm a local car detail guy or a car PDR guy, and I work down the street from you, and I want to offer this special to all of your doctors as a thank you for what you've done during this time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really drilling down and doing some crazy marketing that's not what you would normally do on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's hitting a direct group that is still employed and still making money.
Yeah, maybe you post something at Trader Joe's and you say, hey guys, like I'm a small business too, and I want to offer this to any of your employees. Like we own a detail shop, I don't know, or a PDR shop, and we want to take care of X amount of dollars of work for you. And if they have a door ding and you're giving them $50 off, it's still going to be $100 for you, and it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you. Nice. We were talking earlier before you came on about some of the ways where you could kind of mitigate some of your damages, your income, or not your income, but loss of income. And I know, like for myself, I sent out an email to my landlord this week, and
I talked about early on. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did it early. I didn't want to wait until my rent was due on the 1st. I wanted to let him know that I'm thinking about him. I'm proactive with this. Hey, listen, can we negotiate something for the next couple months here? At least 2 to 3 months, we might be dealing with this, because he doesn't want to lose me as a tenant.
Right.
So there's some other things that we could do to survive this as well.
Talking to your landlord is a big one. Not paying your credit cards right now. If you have a company credit card, if you go on Capital One or on Chase or whatever it is and say, hey, listen, I'm a small business and I can't pay my payments this month because I haven't had income or revenue, they're going to say totally fine. I just did this for a friend and they got 3 months deferred, no payments. I think they were paying interest. One of them actually was, and one of them actually wasn't. The personal one wasn't. I don't know why the business one was. It depends on your credit card company.
Okay.
Some are paying, no interest. Some are doing interest, but she got her credit cards put on hold for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So do that. The other thing I would say is car payments. If you have a work car or a car payment too, personally, they'll put that on pause too. I didn't have to do this, thank goodness, but I had a friend who I was talking to last night who has a Volkswagen Passat, and she had called Volkswagen and they put her car payment on hold.
Yeah.
So, and that's just personally too. We have to sort of survive at a personal level too, right?
Yeah.
Not just business-wise.
Some of them are not as giving as others. I know my employee, he called up Nissan to do it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll defer it for 3 months." He's like, "Well, what does that mean?" He goes, "Well, at the end of your lease, you're going to owe 4 months worth of payments at one time."
Yeah.
So
I think a purchase versus a lease is probably different in that scenario.
So just make sure you're talking and finding out what's going on exactly.
All the details.
Because he's like, well, that's not going to help me. I'm going to owe, 4 payments at one time at the last payment.
Well, you could think of it this way too. You could,
pay extra,
make a little bit extra over that time period to make it up.
That's what I told them.
Probably the smart, at least it's something, know.
But it is something, But not everyone thinks like that, and just my point is beware of the fine print and make sure that it is a deal that's going to work for your best interest as well.
Now, Vince, like you said, I think you said probably the most important thing. I didn't wait. No. And that's why we were trying to do this, and we're recording this and going to get this popped out as soon as possible. But the idea is don't wait until you are in trouble to make these calls.
That's huge, John. Huge.
Yeah.
But there's an exception there, I think, because of the stimulus package. We've been waiting for that. And we found out, Vince, you found out information about unemployment.
I did, yeah. I've been holding off from doing unemployment because I have 3 people on my payroll, including myself. And I thought, well, what better way? I'm just going to, say that I'm not working and collect unemployment. Well, when you collect unemployment, it will void the stimulus package you get for small businesses, where what Trump just passed this airs on Tuesday. So this past week, is that if you do not lay off employees, you will be whatever you get from your loan. How did he word it? He worded it in a way that they're trying to prevent people to go on unemployment is what they're trying to do. So by doing that, if you keep your employees or yourself or whoever on the payroll, chances are that you're going to have your payroll credited back to you. Maybe not 100%, but at least 50% of that will be credited back to you once you go for the loan. Now, everyone's wondering, well, where do I go for the loan? I have to go SBA. Yeah, it's not SBA. Your local banks where you bank with, your business banking, will have all the federal guidelines for these loans. And that's who you're going to hit up first. It doesn't have to be the SBA loan. It doesn't. In fact, the SBA loan, I think, is only limited to $25,000.
Yes.
And, that's it. Where the other one, the one that Trump has passed, is going to be done through all banks that are federally insured.
Now, one of the things I was watching my local news, and they had a calculator on their website, and I went to their website, and you basically punched in your if you're married or single, and
that's a different thing. That's for
what your 2018 tax returns income was, and how many kids, and then it would calculate out how much money you'd be getting on the stimulus package. And I think it was about $3,400.
Yeah. Now that's for individual stuff. That has nothing to do with the small business
stuff.
Correct. Right. Correct. That's purely individual.
So, and also I was instructed, I have many friends that are restaurant owners here in Southern California, and what they've all done, or not all of them, but the majority of them, if you have business insurance, you need to file a claim right now. You need to call up and file a claim. Chances are you're going to get denied that claim because it's not covered underneath your policy. But with that in mind, business interruption is usually what a lot of us have on our policies. And that could be from a business interruption from fire, theft, or whatever. If you're in a major catastrophe area like we are in California and Texas and Colorado, you're already, getting disaster relief or allowed to get disaster relief. You could now, if you file that claim, even if State Farm or Farmers denies it, there might be the possibility that the federal government will come back and honor it. And
that's, I did that yesterday, Vince.
Yeah.
And they said I was excluded, but because of the stimulus package, I had to call, I'm with Farmers. I have to call Farmers, and they thought that it would be honored anyway.
Exactly. So if you have that, even if you have business interruption on your insurance, do it. You'll probably get denied, but the stimulus package will cover it.
Make sure you're keeping track of your lost revenue too.
Yeah.
As far as, for that. And I've talked to my insurance agent about that because I got small business insurance as a consultant. And he said, just keep track of your small revenue. It could come down from the government in the future that they have to cover something, but we don't know how that's going to all play out. Exactly. Pandemics like terrorist insurance, we're going to probably see a new insurance coming forward about pandemics. And honestly, we've had a bunch of pandemics in our time. We've seen SARS. We've seen, what else have we seen? Swine flu. H1N1. HIV. That was a huge pandemic, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Back in the 80s.
We've seen a lot of them, and it's going to be omitted from our insurance, or we're going to end up paying pandemic insurance in the future. That's what I see probably on the pipeline in that.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got about another 10 minutes here if we want to keep on going with some of the stuff we got going on here.
So the next thing I would say too is keep on your brand, keep communicating with your client base. Christina from Anson has done an amazing job doing this. I've been watching her getting on her Facebook Live and doing her thing that she normally does. And she's being consistent right now. And now is the time to be consistent and just evaluate and build. We have time on our hands right now. I have been actually writing a bunch of blogs because I write a ton about PDR, about how to fix something, hoping in the future that someone's going to buy those from me. But it's time that I have right now in my hands to do things. Be creative in what you can do to build out your business.
Yeah.
Evaluating your forms.
I've said that the last downturn is when I came up with the tank vice. I basically asked one question: how do I create another revenue stream? And I said motorcycle tanks, and that's where all that came about.
Brilliant.
So you never know what can come of this time, and there's going to be some silver linings coming out of it, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the big silver linings, honestly, which is sad, is we're going to get rid of the scraps, like those tiny small shops, which is sad because, the 10 shops that are on Broadway, there's 3 of them that are probably going to survive, maybe 4 of them.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out how to be, hustling every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's, you're absolutely right. I know, and the cool part about it is like Christina from Anson, she has been doing her part to gain every bit of knowledge about our industry. She was born into this industry and selling tools and stuff like that, but she had never touched a tool in her life, right? And, the past year she's been going around and getting certified and trained on PDR and, learning how to do this. And really what that has done is built her street cred. Now totally. She knows what we're going through. She knows, what. Go ahead.
Plus, how much goodwill have they done over the years with all the different any PDR tech that's ever been in trouble?
They're so freaking generous.
There. Yeah, they're the first ones there. And you know what? I'd like to say to our PDR brotherhood out there is that, hey, we can do something for them this time. By buying some tools, and we have a lot of different choices to buy from, but why not buy from somebody that could possibly help you out in the future?
And that goes back to the karma thing that I said before. Like, I believe right now is a time to give and a time to invest and a time to be creative with your business marketing, to give back to people that maybe couldn't afford, or, how can you use this to get your name out? It's a win-win for both of us. But, I respect Christina and the Anson family because I didn't know anything about this industry, and I started doing my job, and then someone would pass away and they're like, oh no, we're giving $5,000 to this person, or we're going to support this family, or we're going to do this tool raffle. That builds their brand, right? Because we trust and know them, but also they're giving back, which is, we should be buying tools from them right now.
Yeah.
Everyone go buy something today.
Yeah. And not just Anson, even though I'm part of Anson, but all tool manufacturers are struggling. So, this is their hail season and no one is working. Everyone's been building up for hail, and hail really hasn't hit all that much. Hopefully, God willing, and Mother Nature willing, however you believe, it'll be coming down, and everyone will reset and be able to go out and get to work.
I don't know how people are going to fix their cars right now. If I got a hail car, let's be honest, if my car got hailed on, I know the statute of limitations is 2 years. I'm going to wait right now. I'm not going to go get it fixed right away, right?
A lot of people are going to pocket that money too.
A lot of people are going to pocket that money.
But they're shorting themselves.
People educate people on, A, you have 2 years to fix this, so come back, right? B, the insurance company isn't giving you the correct amount of money for your repair. And B, or C, I don't remember where I was, but
C.
B, how do you sell them that it's getting repaired is important? Because ultimately, typically, it's not their car, right?
Yeah.
Unless they own that car straight out, they have to get it repaired. If it's leased, if they're purchasing it, Toyota wants them to get it fixed.
Yeah. And honestly, I think if you're going to be doing that right now, the ultimate way of doing that is selling the future, reminding people that there is going to be a time after this.
So good, John.
And if they don't fix that car, they're going to be ready to go buy another car, and they're going to take a bath on this beat up turd for the low insurance check that they've got.
Yeah. Which is undervalued check.
And sharpen, on Ingrid's list in here, one of the things you need to do is, if you're not helping push your customers' claims through their insurance process, now is the time to learn how to do that. Because one of the services you provide is the customer drops their car off, their claim information, and the only thing they have to do is come back and pick it up and pay you their deductible. That is simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's huge. It's hail's going to be a different beast this year, I think. And we all bank on it and we all want it for sure. But how do we get people in the door? How do we educate them? MailChimp, if you guys aren't using some kind of email marketing platform to educate your customers and talk to them, yes, your open rates are lower, but they're higher right now because of what's going on. Again, people are reading more emails. Write a creative title and educate people. Like, if it does hail on your car this year, We're here to help. We helped you the years before. Here's why it's still important to get your hail car fixed. X, Y, Z.
Yeah. And like Vince, last week's episode, we discussed the ability to text into mobile tech.
Yes.
You're sending out that, hey, you didn't fix your car.
Yes.
Text reminder and offering a little discount.
Exactly.
Don't forget, that's always an option.
I just sent out a bunch this morning and 2 thank yous for the only 2 customers I had this week.
Thank yous are so huge. We wrote thank you cards to everybody.
Yeah, it does. It does mean a big thing. So, well, to come for full circle, back to what Ingrid started off with, is we are a community of technicians and people in this industry, and we do care about each other. And, please, our listeners, all of you guys worldwide, we do have a huge following worldwide, Australia, England, all you guys, we know you're listening. We know you're struggling. We are all in this together. I want to thank Ingrid for coming on the show and spending a little bit of her Saturday morning with us. I'm sure she had a ton of things to do outside running around.
I didn't even know what day it was, to be honest.
So Ingrid, how can people, if people want to, hire you as their consultant, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I don't have a website yet because I have been busy working with the nonprofit. It's on my list of things to do, but I've really been pouring my heart into working with this food bank. But I'm working on a website, but you can email me, and can you put my email in the show notes?
Absolutely.
Vince?
Yeah, you want to type
Ingrid,
it in there?
Ingrid, M as in Mary, Schneider, SCHNEIDER @gmail.com.
Perfect.
And we'll make that copy and pasteable.
Yes.
Amazing.
And you can always find her on Facebook as well. She's all over our forums. She's following us and knows everything that's going on out there. She's in all the forums, not just PDR Tool Time. And she's knee deep in our industry, whether she likes it or not. In fact, I think you love it. I think you love it.
Come on, tell the truth. You fell in love with the PDR industry.
I did. I'll tell you where my struggles are as being a woman in this industry. And also, it's been interesting learning a new industry, but I did fall in love with it. And the struggles are actually what keeps me here. Like, not being a PDR tech, I think gives me fresh eyes. Was it you, Vince, that told me that you don't know? I think it was Paul Corden who says, my advantage is that I don't get emotionally involved in the dents. Like, for guys who are repairing the dents, it's hard to sell them because they're emotionally involved and know what it's going to take. I know what it's going to take. I've learned that over the years, but I can sell a dent and be very matter of fact about it.
Exactly.
So that's my weaknesses have all become my strengths.
Yes. So well, that's wonderful. And we love you, Ingrid. The first time I met you, I knew you were a class act and knew we'd be friends for many years. So I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you, Vince.
And let's see, we have a little outro music coming in, and Daniel's going to say,
and guys, figure out a way to level up your tools and buy from Anson and level up your business practices.
Yeah, don't do stupid stuff, especially now.
And remember to keep it stiff, which I'm not sure what's keeping it stiff right now in this current environment, but especially with all of you at home, don't keep it stiff at home. Thanks for listening.
Visit AnsonPDR.com for the largest selection for just about all your PDR tools, where you'll find hog glue and hog tabs.
Mobile Tech RX, the app that helps you make more money.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors. Thanks for listening.